Well, economics deals with major aspects of human existence: production, consumption, interchange, uh, most of what keeps our life moving. Of course, economics carves out a narrow component of that. A richer study would be political economy, which deals with how these specific questions of, say, production, interchange, uh, are integrated into a broader socio-political framework. That's political economy. I think it gives more insight than, there's nothing wrong with abstracting particular components of a complex system. That's done all the time. We wouldn't have any physics if you didn't do that. But you have to be careful that what's abstracted does not eliminate critical aspects of what you're studying. So, for example, if physics abstracts away from friction and studies a ball rolling down a frictionless plane, that's okay. What it's leaving out doesn't affect the inquiry into the laws of motion. On the other hand, if the political framework which determines the way businesses function is left out of the study of how businesses function, you lose a lot. So you have to be careful about abstraction. It's fine, brings out crucial elements that you can use as a way of more intricate studies of complex phenomena. That's all a contribution, but it has to be done with a kind of humility, awareness that you're studying something special and that there's much more happening. And if you leave out the other things that are involved, you may in fact distort your conclusions. That there's one pretty striking difference observed in the behavior of natural scientists and economists. I don't want to overgeneralize, but as a tendency, it's pretty obvious. So if you take a look at the array of scientific papers, lots of scientific papers coming out right now, of course, on things like effect of human action on the environment. So what's happening to what can we do? Say, let's take something specific. What can we do to slow down the catastrophic growth in ppm, particles per million in the atmosphere? There are suggestions, sometimes far-reaching suggestions. So should we, for example, sow aerosols in the atmosphere to reflect sun's rays? But if you take a look at these suggestions, they're, at least the serious ones, are accompanied by saying, there's a lot we don't understand. At most, we should try this on a very small scale. So if anything goes wrong, we can reverse it. Not just, let's throw them all over the atmosphere and see what happens. That you don't read that except from cranks. On the other hand, take a look at the way economists deal with the economy. So, for example, take a major change like the onset of neoliberalism 40 years ago. There were some proposals, some ideas, Milton Friedman, others. Well, let's just execute them and change the whole global economy. It's like hitting a complex system with a sledgehammer. We have some ideas about how it ought to work, so let's try it everywhere. Well, we can look at how it worked. Or shock therapy in the Eastern European countries. We have a theory about free markets, so let's force it down. Let's impose it on them without taking a look at the nature of the societies. Well, we know what happened there. Millions of deaths in Russia, economy collapsed, oligarchs from the old Communist Party buy up the whole system, you get Putin. It looks nice on paper, but when you try massive changes in a complex system, You have to be cautious. You can't just come forward and say, we've proven that, recessions are impossible because we have the tools to deal with it. Markets are efficient, forget everything else. Okay? You can't do that in a complex world. And in the natural sciences, there's a lot more caution. I think those are aspects of the kind of humility that I think is badly needed in many sectors of the profession.